amongst a lot of other things, we're going to go through the performance of the groups on the tests, or I should say the lack of performance, when we're not on YouTube. And why I spend so much time shuffling the fucking slides around and the movies and the various other things to try to, as Sally would say, hit the right buttons. And when I put that information, I assimilate that information with your homework, and because there's 2,400 slides, and maybe we're going to see maybe 400 or 500 of them during the seminar. You get all 2,400, but because some of them don't apply, some things you got, almost everything you should have got before you got here. But I've been a teacher long enough to know that that's a naive thought process. It's like when you go off to kindergarten. Kindergarten's when you start school, right? Kindergarten. Your parents are supposed to prepare you. Or at least, I don't know, maybe they don't anymore. And don't do this, and they give you little books to read and shit, or for your parents to read to you. And some of the kids, you won't remember, because not many of us remember stuff at that age, are better prepared than others. And that foundation. So these 5 tests only have, my lawyers say I can only say 95%, but they have a 99.5% accuracy. Who I could predict who's going to make it the easiest, not make it, but make it the easiest, to who's going to make it the hardest, and who is likely not to fucking make it at all. Only 99.5. But because of legal, I say 95, because I can't get sued for 95. But it's already 100%. So we don't embarrass you for posterity on YouTube. We'll go over the results later. A couple of comments. You got some comments about boxing. Some people were very proud of an old git going in there, mixing it up with the young people. Yes. But nobody said that. Normally they say that young kids shouldn't have beat up on the old guy, but they didn't say it this time. So they must have thought that maybe you needed a beating because nobody stuck up for you. Nobody stuck up for you. The same, not the same, but the same bullshit about, that if I were there, I could have done this and that and yada, yada. But the most popular person, just about the most popular person this week is my butler, Edward. He's got a fan club now. Of course, this is as the seminars have gone by, the last 4 or 5 seminars, he takes a more prominent role. And so, in fact, as you know, BBC is going to be here tomorrow to film how he interfaces with the seminar, how he interfaces with me from the time when he comes in with my coffee early in the morning to the time that he goes to bed. And so they're putting together some sort of reality show, BBC, and it will focus on Scottish butlers as opposed to the English butlers down south. So, but that's for tomorrow. And couple other comments not really worth mentioning because they're, a biblical nature, but I'll mention the kids seem to have, for whatever reason, responded a lot more in numbers for my talk that's coming up in Pennsylvania at Wharton, and my talk, I don't know why, in Kathmandu. Because Kathmandu is not an easy place to get to. But Kathmandu has, 500 or 600 already signed up, and Pennsylvania's got 700 or 800. But that's more understandable, Pennsylvania, because of the United States. But you need a long-range bomber with refueling capability to get Nepal. That'll prove to be interesting. Now, last night we're going to start with Steve Ballmer. And Steve who I don't know, I've never met. I've been in a couple of meetings where he was there, but I didn't talk and he didn't talk, and so I didn't really get a chance to interface with him. But he's an alpha male, in case you didn't recognize. And as he said on his commentary, he was nervous because he knew this was going to be posterity at Oxford, and that it's the first time he didn't say fuck or shit or any bad words. I only said fuck twice at Oxford myself, but he didn't say any bad words because that's not his personality. What are some of the takeaways about Mr. Ballmer? Yes, sir.
Unlimited supply of energy. He's high energy the entire time and sells with enthusiasm.
And related back to you, and as you've heard some of the guys and gals that have interfaced with you on the webinars, both taped and live, the ones with the highest energy get the job done. And it's no accident that they're leading their classes because they've got the highest energy level. What else about them? Yes, sir.
I found him infectious.
Yeah, he is. He was. Well, he still is. He still is. I'm sure he's having a hard time trying to keep his nose out of him owning the Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers, the basketball team. He's an infectious guy. And that he led the marketing and sales for many, many years at Microsoft. And Bill Gates, in his infinite wisdom, picked the right guy. And after Bill left a number of years ago, until Ballmer left, he was the largest shareholder of Microsoft, I believe. What else about Mr. Ballmer?
Yes, he measures everything. So he's a big proponent of measuring, using metrics.
What gets measured gets accomplished. And you're not going to like the measurement that you're going to have to adhere to for the next several weeks. But again, remember, the reporting system is for you. Because you see what you do or you don't do before I get it. Now we've had a few, maybe less than 10 in 25 years that have cheated the system, but so it doesn't look so bad when I get it, but they didn't accomplish anything. You can't say you had all these accomplishments and then you never bought anything. I mean, something's not right. So remember, but you're going to see it first, and that's why I say, again, it's better if you, at the end of the day, or maybe in the middle of the day, you write down what you did, and at the end of the day, so you don't have to do it all at the end. What else about Ballmer? Yes, ma'am.
He's very enthusiastic, but that's not his own personality. He practices with that.
Correct. The enthusiasm is the Greek word God from within, derivative of the word, and he's a cheerleader. And he's got very good leadership skills, notwithstanding he wasn't in the military. You don't have to have been in the military to have leadership skills. And he developed them over the years. And part of how he developed them, I'm told from people that were at Microsoft when there was only 20, 30, 40 employees, is that, through trial and error, they brought in professional leadership guys and gals to train at various times in the life cycle of Microsoft. And they were very successful. What else?
Hardcore.
What?
He's hardcore.
Boy, that's an understatement. He is super hardcore. And there's 75 to 95% of the traits of all the high performance people that you're seeing in these films at night are the same. And one of them is they're all hardcore. And they border on ruthless. Some of the older guys, not the older, films you saw at the beginning, those guys didn't border on ruthless, they were ruthless. But in the 21st century, there's only so many things you can do without being on CNN because somebody filmed you. And we're going to look at some lawsuits after lunch today that Microsoft was involved in, that Ballmer picked up the old kind of computers, threw them at his engineers. Legend has it, Steve tried to throw the code writers out the window. not the coat, the guys out the window. Yes, sir.
He didn't know shit about software code.
Correct. Yeah. But you're going to know so much about bedpans, you're going to Google fuck that stuff till the cows come home. So far, everybody doesn't know shit. Then why do my classes have to know anything? Because, and I beat it again, but because they realize they're going to get through on their enthusiasm. They realize they're going to get through on their leadership, even if they make mistakes. And they don't really give a fuck if they're liked. And they make errors. Whereas most of the kids that come through here, not just in recent years, but all the way going back to the early, mid-90s, still wanted to fit in. What else about Steve? Yes, sir.
He said he used to be shy, but he learned to lead. So that means that you can learn how.
Absolutely. We know we can relearn. The older we get, the harder it is to relearn. And just like the backward bicycle, whereas a kid can learn it much more quickly, and then he can relearn it much more quickly. And that's why kids can learn foreign languages so easily when they go off to different places. And you can relearn. But you've got to want to relearn. Just saying, I want to relearn, and is different than actually wanting to relearn. And Teddy Roosevelt wrote a book back when he was president, back in the early 1900s, about learning how to be fearless. And because he was a mama's boy, not dissimilar to what I was when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. He was very close to his mother. And he learned, and his famous charge up San Juan Hill was not his first experiment, but one of his first experiments in trying to be fearless. And he was leading troops, and he had 81 bullet holes in his coat, his hat, his boots, his saddle. 81 fucking bullet holes that didn't hit him. And after he was, by the grace of Allah, somebody didn't want the fat tub of shit dead, obviously. And he said after that, shit. And Churchill had a similar experience, because he was a wuss too. So you can, I'm not suggesting you do that. You don't have to bleed again for a queen and country, okay? But you can do things. You can't, and just going into some of these meetings in the beginning, Peter didn't, we didn't put this on YouTube, but Peter said that threw up. He was so sick to his stomach. He'd throw up before the meetings. You'd have to wipe the vomit from his face. He was sick. That's why we came up with originally the Quantum Leap barf bags. And I've been sick, not a long time, but in the beginning, and but he knew he had to do it. What else about Steve? Yes, sir.
There are many people with good ideas, and he said, get a good idea and then work hard to make it popular. Till it is popular. Yeah. Well, now in the 21st century, in the latter part of the 20th century, because of conventional wisdom and political correctness, but 100 years ago, Henry Ford I didn't make anything popular. Andrew Carnegie didn't make anything popular. Rockefeller, the first. But now you need the consensus. You need the people to want to do what you want them to do when you want them to do it. So you have to make it popular. What else? Yes.
We put everything, heart, soul, mind, body into Microsoft. But I found it interesting that he says that after he's left, that he was completely satisfied with what he'd done. He looks back on it with.
But if I remember the film, he wanted to convince the audience that they weren't a one-trick fuck, that they were arguably a 2 or maybe even a 3-trick fuck. Yeah, because that's when you're super successful off of one thing. You don't want it to be construed in any way, shape, manner, or form that maybe it was luck. Okay, I can. This resonates with me. And QLA, even though I made it work fairly easily, I mean, meatheads, I call everybody meatheads, that made this thing work. And so it's important to Ballmer that, and not just Steve, but also Bill Gates, that Microsoft's legacy isn't just one thing. And Google's got the same challenge, and Facebook's got the same challenge, and all these iconic people. And the way that, in my judgment, one of the ways that Tesla and Elon Musk has gotten around that, he's done more than one thing. He's got, the rockets, he's got the, the loop under the ground thing, which I had the privilege of speaking at a few months ago. They want to be more than one trick. I'm satisfied with one trick from you. Okay? But make sure you get one trick. Okay? Just get the first one. Okay? Get your willy wet someplace, and not be rape. I just want you to because once you taste that, then I can just let the leads go, and because you know you can do it, and then you just be running towards the gold mine all the time. And that's what I want. Yes, sir.
Have an all-in or all-out personality, as Dad said. If you're going to do a job, do a job. Not going to do a job, don't do it.
Correct. And the kids over the years that have been the most successful, quickest, we almost have 100% success rate. Sometimes it takes 7, 8, 9, 12 years. Okay, that's still success. But the kids that do it the fastest, the quickest, are the ones that are 110% in from the very beginning. And just pulling the trigger and not researching too much, if at all. But again, Steve didn't know anything about what they were doing. Now, Bill Gates arguably might have known too much, but they don't. He picked the absolute correct person to be his wingman or whatever you call it. Anything else about Steve? Yes, sir.
The tough decisions are always about people, not about strategy or product or anything.
And there's never an easy time to make a hard decision. There just isn't. I don't know whoever said that, but whoever said it was 1,000% right. There's no easy time. And in the beginning, especially for the young folks, when you're changing your boards, your dream teams, and remembering that these boards are in transition, someplace in your notes you're going to see that. Well, when it comes from 26-year-olds got to fire a 60-year-old, you just flip past that page. You don't want to know that, because it's not easy. Anything else about? Yes, ma'am.
It was very interesting that when you look, when some kids ask questions about, what do you look for when you look for the job? And he said, just look for the job that you love to do. Don't think about paycheck, don't think about it.
That's correct. And some of you have asked, not just this group, but most groups, how do we pay our dream team, and when do they get paid, etc. And the right answer has been that when you're interviewing these people, they don't even ask about that. They don't ask about pay. And I think you said it last night. He said, if I can add value, I'm interested. One of the high-profile individuals that he has interviewed before he got here. And that's normally 95% of the time or more, these high-powered guys and gals, that's their answer. So if I can add value, subject to conflict. What they're really saying is because they can add value. They know you can add value. They know that you know that they can add value, but that's just a polite way of saying it. And then the second part is subject to conflict. Thanks, YouTube. Talk to you later.